Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to the Mediocre Alaskan podcast. So last night I had a difficult time sleeping. I was so excited to get up and hunt today. Yesterday I went out and saw 6 does, which was crazy that not one of them had a buck with it. 3 of them I got really good looks at and was able to kind of watch as they went away to see if anything followed. And I knocked an arrow and I was ready for something to be following those, but it didn't happen. The other 3 took off pretty quickly. And so that makes me think, and I've heard that if you do happen to walk up on a doe that happens to be with a buck, they're a lot less curious or indifferent about your presence. They're going to take off. So it made me think that there was probably at least one buck in there. There has to be, right? So even if I did see one of those does twice, 4 does in this 2 little riffles. Riffles, is that even a word, term? I don't know. Gulches. That's a good amount. This time, even if it is late rut, there still should be some cohabitation. So I had a difficult time sleeping last night. I finished dinner, and I was watching. What was I watching? Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. It's that Seinfeld show on Netflix. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I just kind of, it gets dark at 3:30, so you got to do something in the evening. I like that show not because it's super entertaining, but because there's like these little nuggets that you get from watching it, and other comedians divulge facts or information that makes it almost instructive. It kind of reminds you about what it takes to get to an elite level in your craft. And I don't want to be a comedian at all, but sometimes they'll kind of just almost just casually talk about why certain jokes work, and just that reminder that they're not just naturally funny. Like there's a craft that goes into it. There's writing, there is editing, there's a lot of knowledge that goes into it. I think we kind of get this idea that the funny people are just always funny and they're just naturally funny and they just come up with this stuff. But no, there's a lot of work that goes into that. So anytime that you see someone who's just crushing their craft or just dominates their field, it can be instructive and it can kind of remind you of all right, let's do some work, right? So as a writer, if I want to get, published more, then I need to write better stuff and I need to write more often. If I want a better podcast, I need to write it or speak about better stuff. So anyway, so I was watching that show and then I thought, man, I'm tired. It's bedtime. So I went to bed, and of course I'm just laying there because now I got nothing for the eyes and nothing for the nose. So everything is just about the brain. And gosh dang, I was just thinking about those deer, and I was thinking about the does, and I just imagined what was going to happen today. There's this gulch. It's kind of a deep cut that leaves a muskeg, and on both sides it's pretty steep, but it's definitely got muskeg type characteristics. But on both of the fingers as it goes down, both the upper edges of the gulch, or the ridges as they taper down, that's all timber. And so I just imagined a buck just walking down the opposite side out of the timber into the open area to the bottom of this little gulch that had a tiny little creek and had some grass and stuff for them to eat. I just imagined it. I imagined it so much. I had glassed across yesterday ranged across, and it was 46 yards in some areas, 38 at the top of it. Toward the back, it started to get more 70 or 80, but it flattened out as it widened. So there was like a muskeg opening, so it wasn't just kind of a creek at the bottom of a V. And I just thought about that. I tried to sleep, and I could not sleep. I just kept thinking. I saw this gray buck, and I saw its reddish orange antlers, and I got so excited. And then I finally did fall asleep, and I woke up a couple other times, and I thought, wait, what is? Oh yeah, it's Saturday. Tomorrow I'm going hunting. Oh, this is so great. It's fine if you don't sleep really well because you're going hunting. What more do you need than the act of hunting to get you excited and fired up, give you energy? So I woke up, got everything ready. I had oatmeal, dehydrated cherries, walnuts with a little bit of milk, and then a hard-boiled egg. And I meant to have one of those or not Mountain House, Mountain Ops makes these meal replacements. I think it's the Mountain Ops ammo. They are awesome. So I don't have it as a meal replacement. I have it as like a meal supplement. So I have some breakfast and then have that too. It's just a nice shake to get things going. Give you some good protein stuff that you need. And then I also had, well, I didn't have that this morning, which is an error on my part because I was drained, man. I was just so tired by around lunchtime since I had hardly eaten anything. But another thing that I have from Mountain Ops is the Ignite stuff. That stuff is awesome. It gives you energy and caffeine, but it doesn't make you like jittery. Which coffee doesn't always make me jittery. But yeah, it was good, and it's kind of prolonged, so that stuff is pretty sweet. I stopped subscribing to one of those outdoor food boxes because I got onto some stuff that I really, really like, and so I just buy that instead. I think getting what I want is more valuable than getting a surprise at this point. So it was. I liked the box for connecting me to some of these companies that make some really good stuff, but at this point, I just want to spend money on Mountain Ops, and some of those Honey Stinger things are really, really good too, and those Heather's Choice Packaroons. But anyway, so a lot of tangents today. Get out in the woods, start hiking right as the sun's starting to come up, and I post up on the edge of this muskeg before I get too far in there. I didn't want to start spooking stuff, and I rattle. I tried rattling a little bit more this year. Nothing. So then I get back in the timber and I'm following this boundary line, and I want to get the finger that I went down yesterday was where I wanted to get again, and I didn't want to go up the finger. I wanted to go all wrap around because there's two gulches and there's three fingers. So I went up the middle finger up to the big muskeg that's got a lot of snow in it, and then on my way back I looped and then I came down the left finger if you're looking up the mountain. So coming down the left finger is where I saw all of the does between the left finger and the middle finger. So on my way up the middle finger, I was off to the right side, so there was nothing on the left that could have seen me, because it's all timbery. And there were a couple spots where I stopped and post up and call. I called in a doe. I didn't think there was going to be much in this little area, but I called, and man, all of a sudden this thing springs up and just starts sprinting down this deep gulch and up the other side. Oh gosh, I had my arrow knocked when the thing disappeared behind a tree. I stood up. I was ready to draw. It was a stinking doe again, but a healthy doe, like a really nice, big, healthy doe. It had to have already been bred because there's just no way that thing, that juicy of a doe was not with a buck. Unless I guess maybe this isn't an area I think that gets a ton of attention, which is why I wanted to hunt it. So I guess maybe someone killed a buck, but I don't know. I try to pick these areas that are a little bit further, a little bit more inconvenient to get to. Not super far, but just something that's a little bit off potentially the trail of someone who's gonna hunt the logical stuff. So called that one in, and then went up to the big muskeg and just really took my time going down and doing the route that I did yesterday, and just as quiet as I could be. And man, I was on full ninja. It was great. I was happy with how slow and how quiet I was going. Posted up a few times, called in a fawn, a yearling doe, but man, it looked a lot like a fawn. It was pretty small. Nothing with it, which is probably good because it's I don't know what the term is, but if there was a buck that was looking to get on that might be a little bit inappropriate. So that was it. I took a lot of time, took all day to do I did 2 spots yesterday. Today I just did the 1 spot, and I did a little exploring off that. But man, it was some great territory. I like those fingers where you have kind of a little micro muskeg in between, and you can shoot all the way across or at the bottom of it. And so, you can just follow that little gulch all the way down to where it totally opens up and hits the main muskeg, or hits the road, or hits the whatever you're looking at. And gosh dang it, today was the first day I didn't see a buck on the weekend since the month started. I started off this month missing a buck on the 31st of October, and then the 1st of November. That was the weekend. It was a split weekend. And I haven't gotten a shot off since.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
Last two weekends I went out with my rifle, and nothing. It's crazy. I'm seeing bucks, but I'm just not getting shots off. So I'm getting a little bit nervous here because if the rut's over, if they're off the does at this point, I know Prince of Wales runs a little bit different. I know Thanksgiving is kind of when people really aim for it, and I know catch can people do as well. But certainly my favorite date of October 31st is long gone. So I'm running out of time here, and whew, I'm starting to think about those first couple of days with the bows. I don't regret it at all, though. One of the main reasons I'm bow hunting is the opportunity to hunt bull elk is greatly enhanced if you can do archery, because they don't when the rut's happening for elk, that's when it's during archery season. They don't allow the rifle season does not coincide with the elk rut, which would be an absolute slaughter. So the better weather, September plus archery, is how I want to spend an elk hunt. I would love to do that, a bull elk, and so I want to get as much experience as possible with my bow before I go down there and spend $1,000 for some bull elk, or even if I draw one of the reduced price cow tags in Wyoming. It's, I don't know, $300 or something like that, and it's a cow elk. Man, that'd be so sweet. Ton of great meat. But still, I don't want to spend $300 to go down there and not really know what's going on with my bow, not being used to hunting with my bow. And so going through this, it's frustration, but again, it's part of it. No one says that if you start bow hunting, you are going to go home days where you should have gotten a buck if you had a rifle. Like, no one says that, but it's kind of implied, I guess, or I knew intellectually. If I would have had a rifle, those first 2 bucks this month would have been gone. It would have been over because they were both wide open and less than 100 yards. One ended up being 40. One was 42. I ranged it before I shot and missed my bow. So those were coming home with me if I was a rifle. But hunting with a bow, you got to get used to those sort of failures. And then, again, I'm happy that both of my misses were clean. Found both arrows. And I knew. You kind of get those cues when you're at home and you're shooting. kind of like free throws, right? So you take a free throw and you miss to the left because you're pushed with your thumb, or your feet were jacked up, or your elbow was in, or something like that. Same sort of thing when you're practicing shooting your bow at home. Did I get my anchor correct? Was I my anchor and my nose, was that all right? Did I um, you know did I hover over for long enough, or did I drop my bow after I shot? It's the same thing with a rifle. If you look up or look down, or you twitch when you're shooting a rifle, you're going to shoot off to the side. So I do the same thing with my bow. You kind of learn the corrections. What am I most likely to do? When I miss left, or when I miss, it's typically because I either drop my bow, or because I don't get the right anchor point and I'll shoot to the left. So those are the two things that, like, okay, I got to practice enough to get those things as rare as possible. And those are the two things that ended up happening when I was out hunting for deer. And so I need to get those things out of my system as much as possible. So if I am within shooting distance of a cow elk, or, oh my gosh, if it's a bull elk, I am much more likely to be able to cash that thing in, because there are a lot of things that you spend a lot of money for. $1,000 bull elk, that would be a great thing to be able to come home with the meat, rather than spend it on just an experience. Which, I don't know. I've been thinking about this a lot more. The travel thing, and things that I want to do, things that I like to do, and travel. And I think saying that you want to travel is the right thing. But I've found that it's not just the travel that I want to do. I want to travel to go do something really special, and it's like hunting or fishing. I'd rather spend the money to go place somewhere that I can fish, or somewhere I can hunt, than just travel and go take pictures in front of something. Look at this old building. Someone else built it. It's cool. Here's a picture. But if I can go somewhere and fish, I've caught brown trout before, but I haven't caught brown trout, in this place, in this state. Go back to Arkansas. Why would anybody want to go to Arkansas? Well, I hooked this mammoth brown trout that I didn't land. And so in the back of my brain, I'm thinking, oh man, Arkansas, the White River by Cotter, they have huge brown trout. I think it just adds so much more to a travel experience if you're going somewhere to do something that's got more of a visceral type experience. And you're eating the memory, right? You're not eating it if it's a trout in a catch and release area. But oh man, I remember the feeling of that fish when it took off, and oh my gosh, it's so much different than spending a ton of money to go somewhere and just stand in front of a building. So, yeah, travel, fun. Hunting, fun. Hunting and travel. That's kind of what I want to do. And so that's part of it. And also, I think I'm a better hunter when I'm bow hunting. More dialed in, more focused. But got to get it done. Got to make it happen. So pretty excited for this next week coming up. Got a couple more days. Got to try to get these 2 tags punched, or at least one more tag. That'd be great. Get more meat. I'm going through it pretty quick. Haven't bought beef in a while. There was a sale on T-bones yesterday, actually, so I did buy some steak. But it's so nice to go to the freezer and thaw some stuff out. So good. So a couple more days left. Can try to make it happen. And then, man, it's Thanksgiving. So hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. I know it's weird this year, and it kind of seems like if you're a pro or an outer party member like all of us and Winston from 1984, then you have one thing to do. If you're an inner party member, then you get to do whatever you want. But that's happens to be what I'm teaching right now in Science Fiction Lit is 1984. So a lot of those connections are being made about, who are the inner party members and what do they get to do compared to the rest of us. But I don't know. Got to keep politics out of the old classroom. So have a great Thanksgiving. If it's different than usual, hopefully you're able to zoom in with people, and hopefully you're able to focus on the stuff that matters. I know we kind of use Thanksgiving holidays as an excuse to be offended by people who are going to talk about politics or this or that. And I don't know, if we know that it's coming and we all hate it, I don't know why we still go and volunteer for that sort of misery. So I think, if we can appreciate who we're around, be thankful for who we are around, and be thankful that you know, maybe this pandemic isn't as bad as we thought it may have been in March, when things were going absolutely crazy, and it was terrifying. And then other stuff started coming out. So we're in a different place maybe than the most terrifying places. I don't know what it was like in New York. You see the numbers, you saw the stuff, and so people on the East Coast tend to take this a lot more seriously because they saw what was happening in New York. It was a lot more real to them than it might be in some other areas. So all that stuff aside, hopefully that we can just be happy and healthy, enjoy Thanksgiving, be appreciative of what you have, and we'll talk to you next time.